I'll never forget the day Margaret walked into my clinic. She was 73 years old, and she shuffled through my door with such difficulty that it took her nearly 2 minutes to cross a room that should have taken 15 seconds. Her daughter held her arm, tears streaming down her face. Margaret looked up at me with eyes that had lost their spark and said something that still haunts me to this day. She said, "Doctor, my legs don't work anymore. I can't play with my grandchildren. I can't walk to the mailbox. I feel like I'm disappearing, and my body is the prison." That was 3 years ago. Today, Margaret walks 2 miles every morning. She chases her great-grandchildren around the park. She told me last month that she feels 20 years younger. What changed? It wasn't surgery. It wasn't expensive medication. It was something so simple that when I first told her, she almost didn't believe me. My name is Dr. Victor Hanford, and I've spent the last 32 years of my life specializing in geriatric medicine and longevity science. I've worked with thousands of seniors who thought their best days were behind them, and I'm here today to tell you something that might save your life or the life of someone you love. Poor blood circulation in your legs is not just about discomfort. It's not just about cold feet or leg cramps. It is a warning sign that your body is crying out for help. When blood doesn't flow properly to your legs, it means your heart is struggling. It means your risk of blood clots, strokes, and heart attacks goes up dramatically. It means wounds won't heal. It means infections can spread. And for too many seniors, it means losing the ability to walk, to be independent, to live the life they deserve. But here's what the medical establishment doesn't always tell you. Before you need medications, before you need surgery, there are 5 simple drinks that can transform your circulation. These aren't miracle cures sold on late-night television. These are scientifically validated beverages that work with your body's natural healing processes to open up your blood vessels, reduce inflammation, and restore the flow of life-giving blood to every part of your legs. In the next 30 minutes, I'm going to share with you these 5 drinks, counting down from number 5 to the most powerful one at number 1. I'm going to explain the science in a way that makes sense. I'm going to tell you real stories of real people whose lives changed, and I'm going to give you practical advice that you can start using today. But I need you to do something for me. I need you to watch this entire video, not just the first few minutes, because the drink I reveal at number 1 is the most important, and if you miss it, you'll miss the key to everything. Can you do that for me? Can you give me 30 minutes to potentially add years to your life and life to your years? Let's begin. Number 5, beetroot juice. Let me tell you about Thomas. Thomas was 68 when he came to see me. He was a retired firefighter, a man who had spent his entire life running into burning buildings to save others. But now he couldn't walk up a single flight of stairs without his legs burning with pain. He described it as if someone was squeezing his calves in a vice. His wife told me he had stopped going to church because he was embarrassed that he had to sit down every few minutes. I ran some tests, and what I found didn't surprise me. Thomas had peripheral artery disease. The arteries in his legs were narrowed, starving his muscles of oxygen. His blood pressure was high. His legs were pale and cool to the touch. He was heading down a dangerous path. I started Thomas on a simple protocol. Every morning, 1 cup of beetroot juice. He looked at me like I was crazy. He said, "Doc, I came here for real medicine, not vegetable juice." But I asked him to trust me for just 3 weeks. Here's what happened. Within 10 days, Thomas called me. He said he had walked up the stairs in his house without stopping. He said the burning pain was less intense. By 3 weeks, he was walking around his neighborhood. By 2 months, he was back at church, standing through the entire service, greeting old friends he hadn't seen in months. So what's happening inside your body when you drink beetroot juice? Let me explain this in a way that makes perfect sense. Your blood vessels are like highways. When they're wide and open, traffic flows smoothly. When they're narrow and constricted, You get traffic jams. Beetroot juice contains something called nitrates, not the bad kind you find in processed meat, but natural, healthy nitrates. When you drink beetroot juice, your body converts these nitrates into something called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is like a signal that tells your blood vessels to relax and widen. Suddenly, those narrow highways become wide-open roads. Blood flows more easily. Your heart doesn't have to work as hard. Your legs get the oxygen they need. A study published in the journal Hypertension in 2013 followed older adults who drank beetroot juice daily. The researchers found that blood pressure dropped significantly. Blood flow to the legs improved by nearly 30%. The participants reported less pain, more energy, and better exercise capacity. But here's what you need to know about drinking beetroot juice the right way. First, it needs to be pure beetroot juice, or a mix with a small amount of apple or carrot for taste, not beetroot juice cocktail loaded with sugar. Second, 1 cup in the morning on an empty stomach works best. Third, don't be alarmed if your urine or stool turns slightly red. That's completely normal and harmless. Fourth, if you're on blood pressure medication, talk to your doctor because beetroot juice can lower your blood pressure and your medication might need adjusting. Thomas still drinks his beetroot juice every morning. He's 71 now, and last year he went on a hiking trip with his grandchildren. He sent me a photo from the top of a mountain. He looked like a man who had found his life again. Number 4, ginger tea. Sarah was 76 when her daughter brought her to my office. Sarah had diabetes, and her circulation problems were severe. Her feet were always cold, even in summer. She had numbness in her toes. She had developed a small wound on her ankle that wouldn't heal, and we were all terrified it would become infected. Her daughter was desperate. She said, "Dr. Hanford, please tell me there's something we can do. I can't lose my mother because of a wound that won't heal." I put Sarah on a comprehensive plan, and one of the key elements was ginger tea, 3 cups a day, fresh ginger root, sliced thin, steeped in hot water for 10 minutes, with a small amount of honey and lemon. Sarah was skeptical. She said, "I've been drinking tea my whole life. How is this going to help?" But within 2 weeks she noticed something. Her feet felt warmer. The numbness started to fade. And that wound, it began to heal, slowly at first, but steadily. Within 6 weeks it was completely closed. Let me tell you why ginger is so powerful for circulation. Ginger contains compounds called gingerols and showgales. These are natural anti-inflammatory and blood-thinning agents. Think of your blood like a river. When the river is thick and sluggish, it doesn't flow well. When it's clear and fluid, it moves easily. Ginger makes your blood less sticky. It prevents platelets from clumping together and forming dangerous clots. It also relaxes the smooth muscles around your blood vessels, allowing them to expand, and it reduces inflammation throughout your entire circulatory system. A study published in the Journal of Cardiovascular Pharmacology showed that ginger extract significantly improved circulation in patients with peripheral artery disease. Blood flow increased, pain decreased, and walking distance improved. Another study from 2017 found that regular ginger consumption reduced markers of inflammation in the blood by over 40%. But here's the critical part. You have to use real ginger, not ginger powder that's been sitting in your cupboard for 3 years. Fresh ginger root from the grocery store. Slice about 1 inch of ginger root into thin pieces. Boil water and pour it over the ginger. Let it steep for 10 minutes. You can add a teaspoon of raw honey and a squeeze of lemon if you like. Drink this 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and evening. The warmth of the tea itself helps circulation, but the real magic is in those powerful ginger compounds working throughout your body. Sarah is 80 now. Her diabetes is well controlled. Her circulation has improved so much that her doctor reduced one of her medications. She walks every day and her feet are warm and healthy. She tells everyone she meets about her ginger tea. She says it gave her back her independence. Number 3, hibiscus tea. I want to tell you about Robert and Helen. They were married for 52 years when I met them. Robert was 74 and Helen was 72. They came to my office together because they did everything together. Robert had high blood pressure that wouldn't come down despite being on 3 different medications. Helen had leg swelling so severe that she couldn't wear regular shoes anymore. Both of them had poor circulation and both of them were scared. Helen held Robert's hand and said, "We want to grow old together, Doctor. We want to see our great-grandchildren. Please help us." I'll be honest with you. Cases like theirs are complicated, but I knew that sometimes the simplest interventions make the biggest difference. I added hibiscus tea to their daily routine, 2 cups a day for both of them, 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening. 3 months later, they came back for their follow-up. Robert's blood pressure had dropped so significantly that we were able to reduce one of his medications. Helen's leg swelling had decreased by more than half. They were smiling. They were holding hands. They looked younger. Robert said something I'll never forget. He said, "Doctor, that tea tastes like hope." Hibiscus tea is one of the most researched beverages in cardiovascular health. The hibiscus flower contains powerful antioxidants called anthocyanins. These are the same compounds that give berries their deep red and purple colors. These antioxidants protect your blood vessels from damage, reduce inflammation, and help your vessels maintain their elasticity. Think of your blood vessels like rubber bands. When you're young, they're flexible and stretchy. As you age, they become stiff and rigid. Hibiscus helps keep them flexible. It also acts as a natural ACE inhibitor, which is the same mechanism many blood pressure medications use. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition followed 65 adults with high blood pressure. Half drank hibiscus tea daily and half drank a placebo. After 6 weeks, the hibiscus group had significantly lower blood pressure, better circulation markers, and reported feeling more energetic. Another study from 2019 found that hibiscus tea improved blood flow to the extremities by 23%. But the benefits go beyond just blood pressure. Hibiscus is a natural diuretic, which means it helps your body eliminate excess fluid. This is why Helen's leg swelling improved so dramatically. When you have poor circulation, fluid pools in your legs. Hibiscus gently helps your kidneys remove that excess fluid. Here's how to prepare hibiscus tea properly. You can buy dried hibiscus flowers at most health food stores or online. Use about 2 tablespoons of dried hibiscus flowers per cup of water. Boil the water, pour it over the flowers, and let it steep for at least 5 minutes. The longer you steep it, the stronger and more tart it becomes. You can add a little honey if the tartness is too much. Drink it warm or let it cool, and drink it as iced tea. 2 cups a day, every day. Be consistent. The benefits build over time. Robert and Helen are still together. They're both approaching 80 now, and last I heard, they were planning a trip to visit their great-grandchildren across the country. That tea really did taste like hope. Number 2, pomegranate juice. Let me share with you one of the most dramatic cases I've ever seen. His name was Frank. Frank was 81 years old, a World War II veteran, a man who had survived battles most of us can't imagine, but he was losing a different kind of battle, the battle against time and against his own body. Frank had severe atherosclerosis. That means the arteries throughout his body, including the ones in his legs, were clogged with plaque. He had already had 1 heart attack. He had undergone 2 stent procedures. His cardiologist told him that his next option might be bypass surgery. Frank didn't want surgery. He said, "I've been cut open enough in my life. If this is how I go, then so be it." But his son wasn't ready to give up. His son brought him to me and said, "Dr. Hanford, I know my dad's situation is serious, but is there anything at all that might help?" I looked at Frank's test results. His arterial walls were thick with plaque, his circulation was poor, but his kidneys were still functioning well, and his heart, despite everything, was still fighting. I made Frank a promise. I said, "Give me 6 months. Follow everything I tell you. If nothing changes, then we'll have this conversation again. One of the cornerstones of Frank's protocol was pomegranate juice. 8 ounces every single morning. Pure pomegranate juice, not the cocktail blends. 6 months later, we did new imaging studies. Frank's cardiologist called me personally. He said, "Victor, I don't know what you did, but the plaque in his carotid arteries has decreased. I'm seeing better blood flow. This is remarkable." Frank lived 5 more years after that, 5 years of good quality life. He attended his great-grandson's bar mitzvah. He told his war stories to a local school. He passed away peacefully in his sleep at 86, with his family around him. Pomegranate juice is one of the most powerful circulation-boosting beverages on this planet. Here's why. Pomegranates are loaded with compounds called punicalagins and ellagic acid. These are extraordinarily potent antioxidants. In fact, pomegranate juice has 3 times the antioxidant activity of red wine or green tea. These antioxidants do something remarkable. They protect the inner lining of your blood vessels, called the endothelium. Think of the endothelium as the non-stick coating in a frying pan. When it's healthy, blood flows smoothly. When it's damaged, plaque sticks to it and builds up. Pomegranate juice not only protects this lining, but actually helps reverse existing damage. It stimulates the production of nitric oxide, just like beetroot juice does. It reduces oxidative stress. And perhaps most importantly, it has been shown in multiple studies to actually reduce arterial plaque. A study published in Clinical Nutrition followed patients with severe carotid artery stenosis, which means their neck arteries were dangerously narrowed. They drank pomegranate juice daily for 1 year. The results were stunning. The plaque in their arteries decreased by 30%, blood pressure dropped, and blood flow to the brain improved significantly. Another study from the American Journal of Cardiology showed that pomegranate juice improved blood flow to the heart in patients with coronary artery disease. It enhanced the ability of blood vessels to dilate and respond to increased blood flow demands. Here's what you need to know about pomegranate juice. First, buy pure pomegranate juice with no added sugar. Read the label carefully. Second, 8 ounces in the morning is the optimal dose based on research. Third, pomegranate juice can interact with certain medications, particularly statins and blood pressure medications. So please consult with your doctor before adding it to your routine. Frank's son still sends me a card every year on his father's birthday. He always writes the same thing. "Thank you for giving us 5 more years." 5 years of memories, of love, of life. Number 1, green tea. Now we come to the most important drink of all. The one that I want you to remember above all others. If you only take one thing away from this entire video, let it be this. Let me tell you about Evelyn. Evelyn was 84 years old when we met. She was a retired nurse, which meant she knew exactly how serious her condition was. She had congestive heart failure. Her legs were swollen to twice their normal size. Her skin was discolored and fragile. She could barely walk from her bedroom to her bathroom without gasping for breath. Evelyn's daughter had already started making funeral arrangements. The doctors at the hospital had told the family to prepare for the worst, but Evelyn wasn't ready. She looked at me during our first appointment and said, "I'm not afraid of dying, Dr. Hanford, but I'm not ready yet. I have things I still need to do." I worked with Evelyn's cardiologist to optimize her medications. We adjusted her diet carefully. We managed her fluid intake, and I started her on something that many doctors overlook because it seems too simple. Green tea, 4 cups a day. High-quality green tea, properly brewed, consumed throughout the day. 2 weeks later, Evelyn's daughter called me crying. She said, "The swelling in my mother's legs is going down." She walked to the kitchen by herself. What's happening? 1 month later, Evelyn came to my office walking with just a cane instead of a walker. 3 months later, she was walking independently. 6 months later, she was volunteering at her church again. Evelyn lived 3 more years. Not just lived, but lived fully. She saw her youngest grandson graduate from college. She traveled to see family she hadn't visited in a decade. She told me once, "You gave me back my ending, doctor. You let me finish my story the way I wanted to." So why is green tea number one? Why is it the most powerful circulation-boosting drink you can consume? Let me explain the science, and let me explain it in a way that will stay with you forever. Green tea contains catechins, particularly one called EGCG, which stands for epigallocatechin gallate. This compound is one of the most studied molecules in all of nutritional science. EGCG does something extraordinary to your circulatory system. It improves endothelial function more effectively than almost any other natural compound. Remember what I said about the endothelium being like the non-stick coating of your blood vessels. EGCG repairs that coating. It increases nitric oxide production. It reduces inflammation. It prevents the oxidation of LDL cholesterol, which is what causes cholesterol to become dangerous and stick to artery walls. But that's not all. Green tea also reduces blood viscosity. It makes your blood less thick and sticky. It improves the flexibility of your blood vessels. It helps regulate blood pressure. And it has been shown to reduce the risk of blood clots forming in your legs, which can lead to deep vein thrombosis and pulmonary embolism. A landmark study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology followed over 40,000 Japanese adults for more than 11 years. Those who drank 5 or more cups of green tea daily had a 26% lower risk of death from heart attack or stroke. They had better circulation markers, healthier blood vessels, and significantly better cardiovascular health. Another study from Circulation, one of the most prestigious cardiology journals in the world, showed that green tea consumption improved blood flow in the arteries within just 30 minutes of drinking it. The effect was dose-dependent, meaning the more green tea consumed, the better the results, up to about 5 cups per day. But here's what most people don't know about green tea. How you prepare it matters enormously. If you use boiling water, you'll destroy many of the beneficial catechins. If you steep it too long, it becomes bitter, and people stop drinking it. If you buy low-quality tea bags filled with dust instead of leaves, you won't get the benefits. Here's how to prepare green tea properly. Use water that's heated to about 170 degrees Fahrenheit, which is below boiling. You can boil water and then let it cool for about 5 minutes. Use high-quality loose-leaf green tea or good-quality tea bags. Steep for 3 minutes, no more, no less. Drink it plain or add a small amount of raw honey or fresh lemon juice. Drink 4 to 5 cups spread throughout the day. 1 in the morning, 1 mid-morning, 1 after lunch, 1 in the afternoon, and if you tolerate caffeine well, 1 in the early evening. If caffeine bothers you, use decaffeinated green tea for the later cups. The decaffeination process removes most of the caffeine, but keeps most of the catechins. Do this every single day. Not just when you remember, not just when you feel like it. Every day, make it a ritual. Make it a commitment to yourself. Make it a statement that says, I choose life, I choose health, I choose to fight for every moment I have left on this earth. I want to take a moment now to speak directly to your heart. Not as Dr. Victor Hanford, but as a fellow human being who has watched too many people give up too soon. I think about Margaret, shuffling into my office, feeling like she was disappearing. I think about Thomas, the firefighter who saved so many lives but couldn't save his own mobility. I think about Sarah, with a wound that wouldn't heal, and her daughter, who was terrified of losing her mother. I think about Robert and Helen, holding hands, asking for more time together. I think about Frank, the veteran who refused to give up. And I think about Evelyn, who wasn't afraid of dying but wasn't ready to stop living. Every single one of them was where you might be right now, scared, frustrated, feeling like their body had betrayed them, wondering if their best days were truly behind them. But every single one of them found hope in something simple. not expensive medications with terrible side effects, not risky surgeries, but simple, natural drinks that worked with their body's own healing wisdom. Your body wants to heal, your body wants to function, your body wants to carry you through this life with strength and dignity. But you have to give it the tools it needs. You have to give it the compounds that open up those blood vessels, that reduce that inflammation, that restore that flow of life-giving blood to every part of you. I know that some of you watching this are thinking, it sounds too simple. You're thinking, how can tea and juice possibly make a difference when I've tried everything else? But that's the point. You've tried everything complicated. You've tried everything expensive. Maybe it's time to try something simple. Start tomorrow morning. Choose one of these 5 drinks, just one. Commit to it for 3 weeks. 3 weeks is all I ask. That's how long it took Thomas to walk up his stairs. That's how long it took for Evelyn's swelling to start improving. 3 weeks from now, you might be walking further than you have in years. You might be sleeping better because your legs aren't cramping at night. You might be able to play with your grandchildren without having to sit down every few minutes. You might feel warmth returning to your feet for the first time in months. And if you're watching this because someone you love is struggling, please share this video with them. Don't let them suffer in silence. Don't let them think that poor circulation is just something they have to accept. It's not. There is hope. There is help. There is a path forward. I want you to imagine something with me right now. Close your eyes for a moment if you can. Imagine yourself 6 months from now. Imagine your legs are strong. Imagine you're walking confidently. Imagine you're doing the things you thought you'd never do again. Imagine the look on your children's faces when they see you thriving. Imagine the feeling of holding your grandchild's hand and actually being able to keep up with them. That future is possible, but it starts with a choice you make today. It starts with 1 cup. 1 cup of beetroot juice, or ginger tea, or hibiscus tea, or pomegranate juice, or green tea. Just 1 cup. And then another cup tomorrow, and another the day after that. Your circulation can improve. Your legs can get stronger. Your body can heal. I've seen it happen thousands of times in my 32 years of practice. I've seen people rewrite their stories. I've seen people reclaim their independence. I've seen people add not just years to their life, but life to their years. You deserve that. You've lived a long life, you've worked hard, you've loved deeply, you've survived challenges that would have broken others. Don't let poor circulation be the thing that stops you now. Don't let cold feet and leg pain be the final chapter of your story. Margaret is walking 2 miles every morning. Thomas is back at church. Sarah's wound healed completely. Robert and Helen are traveling to see their great-grandchildren. Frank got 5 more precious years. Evelyn finished her story the way she wanted to. What will your story be? What will you choose? Will you choose hope or resignation? Will you choose action or regret? Will you choose to try something simple that might change everything? Or will you let this moment pass? I believe in you. I believe in your body's capacity to heal. I believe that you have more good days ahead of you than behind you. I believe that the people who love you need you here, healthy and strong, for as long as possible. So please, start tomorrow. Choose your drink. Make your commitment. Give yourself 3 weeks. And then come back and tell me your story. Tell me how your legs feel. Tell me what you're able to do now that you couldn't do before. Tell me that you chose hope. Thank you for watching this entire video. Thank you for giving me 30 minutes of your time. Thank you for being open to the possibility that something simple might be the answer you've been searching for. If this video helped you, please share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Leave a comment below telling me which drink you're going to start with. Subscribe to this channel so I can continue bringing you information that might save your life. Your legs matter, your mobility matters, your independence matters, you matter, and I'm honored that you let me be a small part of your journey to better health. This is Dr. Victor Hanford, reminding you that it's never too late to feel better, to do more, and to live fully. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care of yourself. You're worth it.